The core problem here is not the vice. The problem is integrity. It's the lying, it's the hiding, it's the running and constantly thinking about someone's going to find this out. The deciding who you are every day. It's decision fatigue. Am I the disciplined man or am I the vice-addicted man? You cannot fix the symptom. You have to rebuild the man. You can't just fix the weed. You can't just fix the alcohol. You have to rebuild integrity with yourself. So stop lying to yourself. Stop pretending that the problem is the thing, is the vice. The problem is you. The problem is your lack of integrity. Your vice isn't the problem. The lying is. You think you've been hiding your habit. What you're actually doing is building a wall between you and your wife, brick by brick. You're creating a prison of stress in your own home that's 100 times more toxic than your job will ever be. You use the vice to escape the pressure, but the hiding, the excuses, and the broken trust, that's the real enemy. And that's the thing that is actively destroying your family from the inside out. So today, let's drag all of that into the light. That is for the guy who is living life at 80%. Life is good enough. He's pretty successful. People on the outside think he's doing great, but he is only living up to 80% of his potential. That's many a man. So a lot of the guys who join my men's program, Men of Fire, is they're living life at 80%. People think they're doing pretty good, but they know the life they want to live, their potential is on the other side of that 20%. Life is not painful enough to motivate him to change, and life is good enough that he's enjoying his vices. So for this guy, he's just good enough. Life is good at 80%. It could be way better at 90 or 100%, but because it's good and he's not uncomfortable, he stays at 80%. But really on the inside, it's causing him hell. From the outside, this guy has it all. He's got the nice house, the cars, the family. He goes to church. He looks good enough to the world. But internally, he's living in what I call the high achiever's hell. And that's a guy who knows he's operating at a fraction of his potential. And sometimes that 20% that you're lacking is because you know you still have a vice that has its claws stuck into you. What you watch, what you drink, what you eat, what you do. This thing that you wish you could be rid of, but you actually like it, and you actually don't want to be rid of it. Whenever you aren't partaking in it, you want to be rid of it, but whenever you are, you don't. This vice. This thing has its claws in you, and that's the last 20% that you need to get rid of. You're successful in many areas of your life, but you drink way too much. You vape way too much. You look at things on your computer you shouldn't. This creates a massive break in integrity with you, and you feel like a fraud, fundamentally. And it creates a huge breach of distrust between you and your wife. You don't even want to look her in the eyes when you see her because you know that that is consuming you on the inside. And the surface problem is the weed, porn, alcohol. The core problem is a total collapse of integrity. This man is lying, and it crushes his identity as a man. Now, there are 3 excuses these kind of men give themselves that keep them trapped psychologically, and they keep them in this cage, this hamster wheel of continuing to do the same thing. Many of us have been there. I would say every guy has been there where we have some type of vice where we just can't get rid of it. I've been there. Every guy that joins Men of Fire has something. That was today's call. We talked about getting rid of this last part of us. And it's limiting beliefs and excuses, and it's things that we tell ourselves that allow this to stick around way too long. One of them is, I earned it, I'm the provider. This is because I get to. I get to do this because I provide. It's the I get to mindset. Because the job is stressful, this guy believes he's entitled to an escape. What this does is it turns your leadership into a transaction. You're not a leader. You're just a high-paid employee in your own home, trading provision for the right to be weak. A true leader eats last. You tell yourself, well, I'm creating this amazing life for my wife and for my kids. Got the house, you got the yard, I pay for vacations, I buy them toys, I get my wife what she wants. I deserve it. I earned it. Why can't I have this one little thing? Right? Why can't I have it? I earned it. But you know that's a lie. You know that eats you from the inside out. You know how it makes you feel. It steals your confidence. You cannot be disciplined and have integrity most of the day and then get a free pass for the last 1% of the day. That last 1% infects the rest of your life. And you know that to be true. You felt it. And you don't know how strong and confident you will feel once you are free of this bullshit. The things that you say you want to get rid of, but you really don't. And a guy in our group put it perfectly. This man's down, been with us 2-3 months now. He's down like 30-some pounds. Gone sober. Next thing he's doing is he's quitting vaping. He's about, I think, 30 so days where he hasn't vaped. So one by one, he's giving these things up. Life's completely different right now. His wife respects him and trusts him again, looks different, has energy. But he flat out told us on one of our calls, he was like, I really don't want to give it up. He's like, I say I do. I know I should, but I really like it. And that is the truth. That's the truth that we need to admit to ourselves, is sometimes we like the thing we say we want to give up more than we like the life without it. Because it feels good to be buzzed, right? I remember when I would drink until I was buzzed. I haven't done it in years, but I remember what it was like. It was a good feeling. You're out with your friends, you keep on drinking, and then just all of a sudden you're just happy and you just feel good. It's a good feeling, right? In the moment, it's a good feeling. The next day, it's hell. Same thing with vaping. I've never been a vapor, but people tell me it's the same thing. Same thing with looking at porn. It feels good when you're doing it. It feels like crap afterwards. You're full of regret. But you don't actually want to give it up. You tell yourself you do. But it's a lot of fun when you're doing it. And whenever you say to yourself, I'm going to be done with this thing forever, it's like you're choosing to really burn the boats. And whenever you don't use strong language and you leave a little bit of room for you to do it, you're kind of leaving that boat there. It's like whenever I was quitting my teaching job, I had the option to either quit outright, eliminate my retirement, my health benefits, everything, or I could have got a 1-year sabbatical. And what that is I would get paid half salary for 1 year in exchange for me not being at work for that entire year, but I would have to say that I was getting master's credits, towards education, towards being a teacher. So I'd have to give them my credits and show them that I was working on myself to be a better teacher during that 1 year. And my initial plan was to do that and build my business, make up the money because I'm building my business, and then buy my way out. Because at the end of that 1 year sabbatical, if you don't go back, you have to pay the school district back the money they paid you, the half salary. So I was like, oh, well, if I do this business and I build it, that won't be an issue for me. But it was also a safety net, because if it didn't work out, I'd get to go back to a full-time job. Smart, right? Safe, right? Yeah, but that's like me not truly giving up the vice. So I didn't take the sabbatical. I just quit, eliminated the possibility of me ever going back to teaching. I just sent the resignation email. I was like, I'm done. Cancel everything. No more retirement, no more health benefits, nothing. So I'm done with this life. There's no chance for me to get back. That's what it's like whenever you say to your old life, I'm done with you for good. Actually done with you for good. Not, I'm kind of done with you. I'm leaving a little bit of room. Or if you're a guy who, you do 75 hard and you say, well, I'm going to be disciplined for 75 days. And at the end of it, I'm just going to go hog wild and go crazy. And then you put on all your weight over the next month. Or you say, I'm going to not drink for 6 months. And at the end of 6 months, I deserve alcohol. I earned a good weekend. Okay, well, then you really didn't want to do it. You really didn't want to go sober. You just wanted to play the character of somebody who's disciplined. You're not a disciplined person. You were pretending to be disciplined for 6 months. And for you, it's like a Boy Scout badge. Like, I earned this weekend of binging because I was able to be disciplined enough to not drink for 6 months. Okay, no, then you're not disciplined. If you're still in the mindset of I earned it, I deserved it, then you haven't bridged the gap yet. You're still stuck in this self-sabotaging mindset of I deserve to kill myself. It's the guy who says, oh, well, alcohol has destroyed my mindset, my body, my marriage, my relationships with my kids. My business would be doing better without alcohol. He goes 12 months sober, And then he's like, what's the reward for me? The thing that ruined my life. Alcohol. What the hell is that? Or the guy who lost 80 pounds over the course of a year. And then he's like, because I did so good, I'm going to treat myself this weekend with the thing that was ruining my life. Okay, well, you still haven't freed yourself. You haven't decided that you're a different person. See, what we focus on in Men of Fire is an identity level change, not just a habit change. The habit needs to change, but your identity has to change or else it doesn't happen. Because until you see yourself as the person who is capable without this vice, you will always retreat to it. Your identity must be the person who doesn't need this thing, not the person who gets it if he earns it. Like, why would you ever go back to the thing that's killing you? Like, you're telling me that because you worked hard, you earned the thing that's ruining your life and marriage? No, you don't deserve to feel like crap. You don't deserve the thing that kills your passion. You deserve to be disciplined. You deserve to feel amazing. Because you were disciplined, you deserve more discipline. And what a slap in the face to yourself whenever you're disciplined for a long time, you make unbelievable progress, and then you sabotage it with a thing that you worked so hard to get rid of. You're finally waking up early. You're finally going to the gym. You're finally resisting the alcohol and the weed and the temptation of all these things. And then you say, well, guess what, Chris? You did so good. I'm going to take 10 steps back today. That's what I earned you. That's what you earned today. 10 steps back. No, we're not going to do that. Get out of that mindset. That is a weak victim mindset. You don't need that at all. Be a leader. So you have not earned anything. The first excuse. You have not earned a single vice. Take that mindset out. Eliminate that from your life. I do not earn things that kill me. I earn things that make my life better and my family's life better. Excuse number 2. It's not that bad. It's not that big of a deal. It's just weed. It's legal. That excuse, you minimize the vice because you're terrified to confront the real problem. Your word means nothing. It doesn't matter if it's a vape pen or a heroin needle. The vice is irrelevant. What it is doesn't matter. The hiding and the lying are the poison. You're actively, consciously breaking your wife's trust. That's the big deal. And you know if you have to repeat to yourself over and over again, this isn't a big deal, that it is a big deal. If it wasn't a big deal, you wouldn't have to be thinking about it constantly and saying it over and over again. And these are all simple mindset things that anybody can work through and that you can absolutely overcome. Don't tell yourself it's not a big deal. You know it's not a big deal. You tell yourself it's a big deal to feel better in the moment. It makes that pill go down, that lack of integrity feeling. It helps that go away when you say it's not that big of a deal, but you know it's a big deal. And you know what you feel like whenever you're free of it. Excuse number 3. We'll call this a transactional cop-out. She does X, so I get to do Y. This is a weak man's frame. Why should I stop my thing if she won't stop her thing? She spends money, so I get to do blank. You're waiting for her to change first. And this is a child's logic. Leadership is not conditional. As long as you think like that, you are always going to be the follower. One of you has to lead first. Sometimes the wife steps up. You need to step up. Husbands, fathers, you need to be the guy to take charge right now. By taking charge, I mean taking charge of yourself. I mean not waiting for somebody else to change. Well, she didn't change, so I'm not going to. She's not eating healthy, so I'm not going to. She's not waking up early, so I'm not going to. Okay, who are you then? What is your role as a man in your relationship? It's just this child whining and complaining, following along, chasing his wife's coattails? I thought you were a leader. I thought you were the head of the household. Well, I'm not going to do it. My wife isn't doing it. Well, my wife gets to do this, so I am. What is that? That sounds so weak. How about you be a leader? How about you be disciplined? How about you intentionally deprive yourself so you can build that muscle of willpower? Don't wait for somebody else. Do it now. So the 3 lies we have is there's the provider lie. I earned it because I'm quote-unquote leading. I earned it because I'm providing. Since I have such a great life, since I'm providing such a great life, I earned this thing that I know is bad for me but feels good right now. Making your leadership transactional. Excuse number 2 is the minimizer. It's not that big of a deal. It's legal. It's okay. It's not that big of a deal. You know that's a lie. Excuse number 3 is the transactional cop-out. My wife gets to do this, so I get to. That is such a childish thing to say. Stop those excuses. As long as you are holding fast to those excuses, you will remain held fast to your vice. Because once again, the vice is just the symptom. The disease is your mindset. The disease is your outlook and perspective on the vice. It's the excuses you give yourself, your limiting beliefs. You're saying you deserve it. You don't deserve it. You earned it. You haven't earned it. It's okay. It's not okay. You know it's not okay. Don't blame the thing. Don't blame the weed. Blame you. Take a look in the mirror. And then this also has a massive ripple effect on your family. Let's talk about that. 3 different ways that this is going to impact your family. There's the wife. This turns your relationship with your wife into a mother-son dynamic. Okay, she is catching you. You don't have a wife now. You don't have a partner. You have a parole officer. You're somebody who is running around trying to look out for your best, but they're attached to somebody who's actively trying to kill themselves. So she's just trying to clean up the scraps, trying to hold the family together, and you're sneaking around, smoking, drinking, doing whatever that you know you shouldn't be doing. That's draining the family funds, that's draining your body, that's draining your energy, also killing the relationship. Don't be that guy. But this podcast is for that guy. So if you are that guy, listen to this podcast and change. Ditch that thing that's holding you down. Ditch the thing that's stealing your confidence. You do not need it. Do not force your wife into this position where she is your mother or parole officer checking up on you and keeping your life in line. Especially if you're a guy who's successful in business or successful in his career, and this is a relationship you have at home. Like at work, you're leading hundreds and you're the top of the food chain. At home, you resort to a child. Don't be that. That is a complete two-faced hypocrite. It's a guy who's living 2 different lives. One that the public sees, another one that his wife sees. What a hellish world you've created for yourself and your wife. You don't need this vice, these things that bad. They're not worth it. They are not worth you completely destroying your integrity and confidence in the perception you have of yourself. It's not worth it. Alcohol's not that good. Weed isn't that good. All these things aren't that good. You don't need these things. Many guys find themselves in a situation with their wife where they get offered an ultimatum. Like some men can't handle themselves, have such a lack of willpower, such a lack of self-control and self-discipline, that they find themselves in a situation where their wife has to give them an ultimatum. They say, you need to quit drinking or else this marriage is not going to work out. I will go alone and find a life by myself. The hell that you're creating for this family is greater than the pain I'm going to feel going out on my own. And I've met many a men who find themselves in that situation. They've allowed purely drinking to do that to themselves. What a hellish life you've created for yourself. What a lack of integrity. What a lack of leadership. Look yourself in the mirror. Is that the man you want to be? You want to be the guy whose wife has to offer him an ultimatum. Imagine what she felt when she was marrying you. Did she think she would find herself in this situation? This situation where she has to give her husband an ultimatum? You have to look at yourself and say, this is pathetic. I've allowed myself to reach a pathetic state. It also creates a prison cell of stress for you. You say your job is stressful. You give that as excuse as to why you're doing the vice, why you're drinking, vaping, looking at porn, whatever it is. You're like, well, my job is so stressful, I need this thing to decompress. It creates a prison of stress. That's the truth. The hiding, the lying, the walking on eggshells, that is so emotionally draining. It takes all of your energy out of you. That's more stress than your job could ever give you. You are the source of the chaos that you claim that you want to escape. And as long as you keep on doing this, you keep on running around hiding, you're going to find yourself just like a rat in a cage, constantly running around, stressed out, trying to escape the pain. That is what you're causing yourself. Is this vice worth it? No. Imagine how free you could be without this thing. If you needed nothing, be the man who's strong enough that he needs nothing. He can exist without the vice. He can go through stress without alcohol. He is so strong that he can sit in his discomfort and doesn't need something to medicate it. That's the man you could be. The vice that you're taking to cope with stress is causing you 10 times more stress than the reason you're indulging in the vice. You know that to be true. You're actively making life worse for yourself by choosing this vice. This also does really, really bad damage to your identity, how you see yourself. You start to see yourself as a coward. That might be why you feel weak. It might be why you feel unconfident, why you don't trust yourself, and why you break promises. Because you haven't decided who you are. You don't know. You haven't decided that you're the disciplined man. You haven't decided that you're the leader who's going for it. You're still leaving room for your weaker self to take over. Who are you? That's what you have to decide. And once you decide that, everything else becomes easy. If every day you wake up not knowing who you are, every single day will be hard for you. This guy is always leaving room for him to fail. He's jumping off with a parachute. He's not going all in. He's the aspirator, not the executor. He's a guy who thinks about changing, wants to change, plans to change. He'll talk your ear off about how he's going to change, but he never puts a line in the sand and burns the boats. He never goes all in. His indecision is his failure. That is the aspirator. He's always indecisive. He's never acting. He's always thinking about it, right? Always planning about it, always waiting to feel ready, waiting for the right time, waiting for finances to be right, waiting until everything is safe. It's just indecision and fear. It's just cowardly. He's a cowardly little rat running around in a cage, going for comfort, running away from things that scare him, never deciding who he is. If today's a good day, I'm going to be disciplined. If today's not a good day, I won't be disciplined. If life is easy, I'll work towards my goals. If life is a little bit hard, I'm not going to, and I'm going to give up on them. That is the aspirator, the guy who talks about wanting to do things but never does it. Be an executor, the man who decides and acts. Give this up. So you have to decide, am I willing to give this vice up? Am I the man who's giving the vice up? Or do I just want a little bit? Yeah, you want to just dip your toes in. You want a little taste. You haven't decided who you are yet. Once you decide, the rest will be easy. For a lot of guys, they have an environment problem. You're surrounded by work colleagues who are very comfortable, lazy, fat, and don't give a shit. They bitch about their wives all weekend, and you're around that. So just like leaving a smoke-filled room, you can't help but take that stench with you. That smoke-filled room, you cannot escape that. And for many guys, that is their environment. There's a lot of men's work environments. There's guys that are comfortable, guys that don't have ambitions of greater things. That was my work environment. The only way I got out of that was by changing my environment. Even though I was physically in it, whenever I joined my first coaching program and my first business masterminds, those kind of things, and started listening to podcasts, reading books, didn't go to the teacher's lounge anymore. I had to change my environment. I said, okay, even though I'm physically in this bad environment, I'm going to guard with a knife anything that comes into my head, the environment that truly matters between my ears. I'm going to make sure that everything that goes in there is something that builds me, not something that tears me down. Many of you have a horrible environment, and everyone you talk to has given up. They don't care anymore. They're in their mid-30s or 40s and like, oh, well, it's too late for me. I'm getting my dad bod, getting fat, getting slow. Injuries start to pile up. You know how it is. Can't wake up that early anymore. Used to be in shape. Hang their hat on that. My wife's a bitch. She's always nagging to me, blah, blah, blah. So you're hanging out with fat losers who hate their wives instead of in-shape businessmen who are going after life and want to be the best husbands and fathers they can be. Very different crowd. Very different thoughts, words, and ideas coming into your head than are coming into, for example, my guys' heads. People that are intentionally surrounding themselves with men who are all in, done with the bullshit, done with the excuses. Your environment matters. What you listen to matters. If I'm telling you, hey, it's okay, man, have the drink, have the cookie, take a break, indulge, seek some balance. Don't listen to Rising Father. He's going to, no. What does he know? No. If I told you that, I'd be doing the worst possible thing for you. No, I want you to deprive yourself and go all in. This weekend, I'm recording this on Friday. We did a special weekend challenge in Men of Fire. You can do it with us. Join us. Do it. If you're going to listen to this on a weekend, do it with us. We said, okay, not only, this is purely voluntary. Anyone that wants to challenge himself, you can do it. Not forcing it, but anyone that wants to suffer more this weekend, and go into next week feeling on fire instead of restarting on Monday, you can do it with us. No alcohol, no smoking, no drugs. Do your regularly scheduled workout, plus an extra hour of cardio. 12,000 steps. Drink 1 gallon of water, and then other stipulations as well. It's a bonus if you want to. Guess who said yes? The guys that are extremely busy. Husbands, fathers, business owners, successful in their career, pushing themselves, already made a massive transformation. They're like, yes, I want more. I want more. They're already on fire. They're like, I want more fire. They're very busy. You're not the only one who's busy. Everyone is busy. But they want more. They want to wake up earlier. I said your wake-up time will not change this weekend. If you're joining us for this challenge, your wake-up time will not change this weekend. So if you're getting up at 4:30 a.m. during the week, you still get up at 4:30 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday. That's my wake-up time. And then we hold each other accountable. We post in the group, okay, here's what I'm doing. We cheer each other on. If we don't see you, we say, hey, where's your stuff? If you're in that environment, what do you think life's going to be like 365 days later? Or you're with a group of guys who's like, hey, man, why are you getting up? That's stupid. And they just make fun of you. If you're not drinking, they make fun of you. And for me, that's like a crazy world to be in, but I used to be in that world. You're with a group of people that if you're not indulging, they think you're the weird one. If you're not actively making yourself more fat, miserable, and lazy, they think you're the weird one. You got to change your environment. If you're around people who think it's weird for you to be healthy, get out of that group. Be the weird one and be proud of it. Say, yeah, I'm not going to be the follower anymore. I'm going to be the leader. I'm going to be the guy who goes for what he wants. Okay, you think I'm weird. Call me weird. You're just sad on the inside. That's all it is. I'm not going to be sad. I'm going to be ripped, actually. Yeah, I'm in my 30s and 40s. Sure. I'm going to be in the best shape of my life this year. That's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to tell people about how I'm in the best shape of my life. You're going to tell people about how many beers you drank this weekend. That's the difference between you and me. I'm going to tell people about how much my business grew. You're going to tell people about what shows you watched. That's the difference. I'm going to tell people about the weekend trips me and my wife went on. You're going to tell people about what a bitch she is. So whose rejection are you more afraid of? Are you more afraid of the rejection of your clients, your boss, your friends, your brothers, your coworkers, or of your wife? Whose rejection actually matters? That's what you need to think about. Who are you living for? Who are you going to spend years with? So you got 2 paths. It's like a choose-your-own-ending novel. 2 different people you could end up. And I've talked to both of these people. I did a specific podcast about a 64-year-old father I talked to. He was this past. He was this path you could take. We'll call him the ghost in the ghost of the future. You could end up being the guy who just doesn't change. The aspirator, the guy who talks about it. He's in love with his own story. He'll talk your ear off about what he has to do, his problems. He loves listening to podcasts, but he doesn't love changing anything. He loves thinking about changing. He loves getting inspired and the good feeling, but he doesn't do anything. For him, inspiration is his dopamine hit. Other guys smoke weed. He listens to motivational podcasts and does nothing. That guy that doesn't change. You could be that guy. And he ends up like maybe his father, broken old guy on the couch, no relationship with his kids, somebody that his own kids don't even trust, somebody with no relationship with the family, lonely, isolated, feeling like garbage, addicted to devices like a rat in a cage. You could end up like that person, roommates with his wife, no connection. Or you could be the lighthouse. You could be the guy who decides to take a stand and get uncomfortable. That's what it is. Are you willing to get uncomfortable for a better life? Or do you have to be comfy? Does everything have to be perfect for you? If so, okay, then you can end up like the first guy. If you're willing to get uncomfortable, if you're willing to kill that old version of you, then you can be the lighthouse. If you're willing to stand for something, you're willing to give up these vices that are holding you down, the guy who's done just talking about it, the guy who's done just listening, the guy who's done with his excuses, the guy who's done waiting to feel ready to take action. I'm waiting to feel ready to plan. I'm planning on planning really soon. Just when things are a little bit easier, feel better, a little bit safer, I don't have a single drip of fear and resistance in my body. Then I'll do the thing that I know is going to save me. Then I'll invest in myself. Then I'll start that business. Then I'll take the leap. Then I'll have that conversation. Only whenever it's easy. Oh, but does it mean something to you? Is it important to you? Yeah, it means the world. I'd die for it. Okay, then do it now. Nah, it's not easy enough. Okay, so I thought you said it was worth something to you. Well, it is. I just want to wait until it's really easy. Okay, but if it was worth something to you, wouldn't you do it if it was hard? Yeah, but you don't understand. I'm special. I'm unique. I'm different. My excuses are more important than the other guy's excuses. Things are really crazy for me. Things are really chaotic for me. Not for anyone else in the world, but for me, I'm special. No, you don't want to do the work. You're too comfortable. You don't want to give up your comfy life. You're happy at 80%. You're happily living life at 80%. You don't want to change. Life is not painful enough for you to change. You haven't gotten the ultimatum from your wife. You haven't been driven to the hospital. You haven't had the heart attack. You're waiting for your life to blow up. That's what it is. You're just complacently sliding along towards the edge of the cliff. And since you haven't reached the cliff yet, you're not taking any action. When you reach the cliff, you'll be ready to change. But you haven't reached the cliff yet, so you're just in a daze, sliding towards the edge of the cliff. Don't be that guy. Be the guy who decides to rise right now. Take a stand. He's the lighthouse. Burn the ships. Be the rising father that's an unbreakable anchor for his entire family. The core problem here is not the vice. The problem is integrity. It's the lying. It's the hiding. It's the running and constantly thinking about someone's going to find this out. It's the deciding who you are every day. It's decision fatigue. Am I the disciplined man or am I the vice-addicted man? You cannot fix the symptom. You have to rebuild the man. You can't just fix the weed. You can't just fix the alcohol. You have to rebuild integrity with yourself. So stop lying to yourself. Stop pretending that the problem is the thing, is the vice. The problem is you. The problem is your lack of integrity. So you have two choices. You can become the ghost in your own home. You can become that 64-year-old man who is a living ghost in his home, who doesn't have the respect of his family. Or you can become the lighthouse. You can make a decision to not try. You can make a decision to not try harder. You can make a decision not to just think about it. You can make a decision to decide. You can decide who you are and act. But you have to draw the line in the sand. You have to burn the boats. Go tell your wife. Say, this is what's happening, and I want to stop it. I will hold myself accountable. And then get yourself into an environment with men who will hold you accountable. Change your environment. Ditch the environment of guys who hold you down. Give yourself a new standard to live up to, not a standard that's pulling you down, not a group of men who are an anchor to you. And then once you rise, your entire family rises. If you're a man who wants to be surrounded by badass elite fathers who will help you rise, who will push you to rise, then that's what Men of Fire is. That's what I lead. And let me warn you, this is not a dip your toes in low commitment men's hangout group. I know those are out there. Some of you guys have been in those groups where you meet once a week on Zoom and you just chat about your feelings for 30 minutes and you do nothing, and then you bitch about your wives and you keep on drinking. And this is not that. This is an all-in, high-commitment group where I expect you to work, and I expect you to transform, and I expect you to rise and become unbreakable. And I will hold you to that, and the other men will hold you to that, and we will hold each other to that. That's what we are. We're a brotherhood. I had a guy today on our call. He's He's waking up at 3 a.m. He's been sick, waking up at 3. I'm sick if you can't hear that. He's been waking up at 3 a.m., sick, still going to the gym, building his business, starting a new business, he quit vaping. And he told me, I had a one-on-one call with him. He said, I am, 10 times busier than I was. I am 10 times more productive than I was. I'm pushing myself harder than I ever have, but I have more energy than I ever had. If I had been sleeping in, buzzed, and indulging, I would be so tired and depressed right now. He's like, but I am getting so much done. I am changing, but I have so much more energy and I'm so much happier. He said, my wife trusts me again. He's pushing himself harder than ever, but he has more energy than ever. He has more confidence and fire than ever. The life you want is with challenge and purpose and pushing yourself. It is not with indulgence and complacency. Get around guys like that. If you want to be part of that group, you want to apply, then the link is in the description or the bio, and you can apply to Menify, and we'll see if you're a good fit. Thank all of you for listening. This was an important podcast. I've struggled with vices in my past. I've overcame it. I've helped lots of guys overcome it. If you're struggling with that, please know that you can overcome it. I'm going at you in this one. I'm talking directly to you, but you need to know that you can overcome it. And as always, if this podcast is helping you, please make sure you're followed and you're subscribed, like on Apple or Spotify. I got a notice from Spotify today. They said you need to tell your listeners to follow. You've got lots of listeners and a percentage of them are following. So please follow. And then if you wouldn't mind, please leave a 5-star review that helps Spotify and Apple push this out to more people. I really appreciate it. Thank you.